numbers at the bottom.
That was for Derrick.
Oh.
Hello, everyone. Logan is eating chicken nuggets.
Damn right.
Derrick is on the couch. And
he's checking his privilege.
He's checking his electronic privileges.
No, I'm really checking my email.
Good for you. You still use AOL. Who uses AOL?
I've had this for this email address for a long time.
It's gonna make a comeback any day now.
I mean, the surge came back, so.
I'm
just glad you didn't. I'm just glad you didn't accidentally.
My soul started shaking. I was like, what the?
I'm just glad you didn't accidentally spit it like all over the.
I swear to God, if he had spit.
Okay, so we're talking about Game of Thrones Season 6, Episode 7. Good Lord.
The Broken
Man. Full spoilers. Spoilers, speculation, spoilers for all the books, spoilers for potential books, potential episodes, potential seasons.
Spoilers on how to make the perfect pan of Aunt Jemima brownies.
That's like the 4th week in a row that you've forgotten that we don't have like a recipe section.
I haven't forgot. I'm waiting on us to start it. Because the books are full of food.
Future Logan,
That's
I'm
true.
to do that.
And there's a Game of Thrones cookbook, so it all ties together.
So, guys, this episode started with the return of Sandor Clegane, the Hound. He's not dead. Raise your hand if you didn't see that coming.
Derrick, raise your hand.
Jake and I talked about it earlier today.
I'll take the word for it.
I was explaining to him why I thought Clegane Bowl might be a thing. It just so happens tonight we got one step closer to it.
It's gonna be dope.
So Sandor was nursed back to health by Ian McShane.
Blackbeard himself.
And he was Septon Maribald. I guess he's a character from the books. And he's somewhat different in the books, but basically he is of the same religion of the seven that the High Sparrow is sort of a militant version of. And
the High Sparrow is just
it
like a fox.
It would look as if Septon Maribald was sort of... He was like an ex-warrior himself, so he related to Sandor Clegane and nursed him back to health and was trying to show Sandor that he could be a good person, he could be a decent man and in decent times, all that jazz.
Yeah, the last time somebody tried that, it failed. He got stabbed in his gut repeatedly.
Ironically, the most interesting thing about this whole segment with Sandor Clegane is that the last two scenes where the three men on the horses come up and they're kind of threatening. One of them's wearing a yellow cloak. They mention the Lord of Light because they mention the night is dark and full of terrors. And then presumably it's them that come back and kill everyone and hang Septon Maribald at the end. So
he will be missed.
Book spoilers and show speculation, potential spoilers. Do you agree with me, Logan, that these guys are most likely members of a now more violent and aggressive Brotherhood Without Banners?
Yes, and I love it.
And do you think that maybe that guy either is the Lemon Cloak recast, or he killed the Lemon Cloak and took his cloak?
I hope they just recast the dude, because it'd be kind of disrespectful to have killed him off.
It would have been, because I was just thinking that this is the Lemon Cloak and he's going to be a slightly bigger character this year, so they recast him.
Yeah. Kind of like how they did with Barrett Dondarrion.
Yeah.
So not coming back.
But the interesting wrinkle here, this is the reason we wanted to talk about this. The interesting thing about this is last week we got the reference to when Walder Frey referenced the Brotherhood Without Banner. So now we kind of saw them. We kind of saw that they're more aggressive. They're killing people. They're hanging people. And the reason that's interesting is because we did not.
It's kind of like they have no compassion, almost as if their
hearts
were stone.
were made of stone.
Yeah. Is that the pun of the week?
Yeah,
I had to get that one out of the way.
You know, it's in all joking aside, it's just interesting that we could maybe be setting us up for Stoneheart. They circled back to the Riverland storyline. This season has been a lot about the Tullys. It's been a lot about Catelyn. It's been a lot about Robb. We've revisited the twins. We've revisited the Riverlands now. And in the books, they didn't start hanging people until Lady Stoneheart was introduced. So,
true.
Are we maybe getting geared up for another character that was gone that has been resurrected? We have a zombie mountain. We have Jon Snow. Sandor was revived.
I'm convinced he's not some sort of advanced White Walker.
I mean, he could be a servant of the Great Oak.
What?
But,
I done heard a lot of crazy things,
Derrick.
You have taken the cake.
So you know how everyone was kind of like, is Dany going to be the villain? And I talked about that like at length last week. Is Dany the villain? Derrick is like kind of subscribing to that like alternative theory that like the Jon might end up being like an incarnation of the Great Other.
Shut your mouth. That's disrespectful.
It would be more disrespectful than Daenerys going bad. But
she's clearly the Mad Queen.
So, but yeah,
sometimes you gotta burn people, Derrick.
But I think
sometimes you gotta burn people.
Burn them all. I think if you asked us, even 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, we would have said the door is completely shut on Stoneheart. I don't know anymore. Do you?
Oh yeah, I meant to tell you. Dan and Dave sent me an email because they've seen the show and they're like, guys, don't talk about Lady Stoneheart. You'll see.
So, yeah.
We got connections now. We don't really. But I don't.
Zero connections.
Zero connections. Although, I feel like if we keep pimping out that book, eventually.
Oh. I can't reach it. It would twist my back out of place, but it's there.
This is a very complicated
we know a lot of stuff and things about the world of Ice and Fire.
And you too can know stuff and things. If you just purchase this book right here, which will appear backwards when you watch this video, but hey, you get the idea. George R.R. Martin, A World of Ice and Fire. It's a great read. Great read. Hold this, Derrick. Thanks, D.
Anyways, so yeah, that's sort of the intriguing thing is maybe we're getting Lady Stoneheart. And
yeah, I don't think anything's off the table at this point.
Because we didn't think we were going to get Cold Hands either.
But boy, did we get us some Cold Hands.
And Cold Hands was a character that was supposed to have appeared much earlier and didn't. So Stoneheart. This is the season of Starks. It's the season of resurrection, of renewal, of rebirth, of revival. So why not end it with a bang? Wouldn't that be cool?
Oh, it's going to end with a bang.
So,
especially when that wall comes tumbling down.
So,
spoilers.
In the north, we saw Jon and Sansa and Sir Davos teleporting everywhere, trying to get support. Everyone has literally gained the ability to teleport this season.
Boy, I'm telling you.
So they got the support of the wildlings, and I really love that. I really love that when the wildlings were like, "Hey, look, he died for us, and we're cowards. If we don't join him." So that was sound logic.
Okay.
Unlike Stannis's, if a man knows who he is, there's really no choice at all. Like that was not sound.
That did not sound logic at all.
Burn little girls.
So then they went to.
Sometimes you gotta burn little girls.
That's the one. So then,
did it not clear up the blizzard?
It did. It stopped the snow. I'll give it that. I took that as a coincidence, but it did stop the snow.
No, it happened.
But
so he can die.
So he could hurry up and die quick, and we could get to the real Azor Ahai.
Exactly. So, the Lord of Light's will was made known.
So moving on, we after the wildlings, Jon went to House Mormont, where we saw the awesome Lyanna Mormont, who was named after Lyanna Stark, who as we know, is Jon Snow's mother. So we got to see him talking to Ileana.
Indeed.
That was interesting. And she was
She
like...
was a little spitfire.
She was awesome. She's like, what, like...
Derrick was not pleased with her at all, though.
She needed a good smack in the face.
No, first she's like a 10-year-old girl, and from her point of view, you got a bunch of people from a basically debunked house like, we need your fighting men. She did the thing any like smart leader would have done.
62.
That's gonna appear backwards.
I know.
62, yeah. That's
26.
But, you know, Jorah Mormont and his son Jorah Mormont were both great fighters, so, you know, if they're half as balling as
although
those
was Jorah that great? He got taken out by Carl the Legend.
I mean, he was old and he was not expecting the legend. The legend of Jen Alley was a force.
I think what Jorah did this season,
force.
Jorah threw some dirt at a Dothraki, and the Dothraki like veered slightly to the left.
He's getting more and more like his dad.
That's what happens when you can't ride the dragon.
Oh, disrespect. So
he
too old.
Well, now he's got the grayscale, so he
he got like Game of Thronesian herp or whatever.
At least he's not going to worry about getting hard. Anyways, so yeah, that was really cool because essentially, and it was cool because you got to see Jon and Sansa trying to play the Game of Thrones, trying to get the you know
it didn't work well,
and they're not very skilled at this. This is not, you know, Jon maybe a little bit better than Sansa at it.
Politics are not the Stark way.
Yeah, and this is just not really what they're made for. And Sansa's learned a lot from like Littlefinger and from being around powerful people, and Jon has learned to negotiate. But it took someone like Sir Davos, who has gotten as far as he has in life because of his ability to communicate and get people to see reason, to really impress upon them the significance that the real war is going to be between the living and the dead. So that was cool. Then they teleported over to the Glovers. The Glovers were salty and whatever.
Patriarch Danny, you know.
Whatever, Glovers. Like, when the Walkers come...
I mean, I can see from their point of view where they like, we are not dealing with this at all.
I can relate to almost all of the characters.
I don't agree with it.
But at this point, this late in the series, if you're being annoying, I have no time for you. Like, so, farewell, unimportant Glovers.
He was also disrespectful when he referred to Rob's wife as a foreign whore. So,
she wasn't paid,
so she was not a whore.
So, Jon and Sansa kind of came to blows there because Jon is like, look, a storm could come up any day. We've got to go ahead and attack Winterfell with this measly force we've got. We're just going to have to go for it and give it our best shot. And Sansa's
horrible plan.
Sansa's like, that's what Stannis did. I don't think that's going to work. And you can see where Sansa's kind of...
He's the true one.
Sansa's kind of got this...
They still outnumbered.
Sansa, and the characters don't know that. No. Sansa's got this, you know, sort of Brienne, like, on her shoulder, you know, saying, hey, can we trust Davos and Melisandre? I don't know where Melisandre was. I guess she was all napping.
She's getting ready to perform some, like, hardcore
magic. But, you know, so Sansa was kind of making the points that Brienne would have made, like, I don't know if you can trust these people or not, I don't know. And you can see there was a little bit of a divide where Jon is saying, no, we're going to do this. Sansa's like, there's infighting. So, you know, they're definitely not quite ready yet. But,
not at all.
So Sansa sent that letter, we're assuming, to Littlefinger, asking for help from the Knights of the Vale, which was, you know, and Brienne is, of course, on her way to River Run, so
she'll get there by next. You just know that if they weren't trying to like speed through a lot of this, probably won't see Brienne until like episode like 10.
Yeah,
get to River Run. But
so River Run. So we got there, and okay, so they've circled back around now, and they've given Jaime that story from the 4th book, and
that I honestly thought wasn't going to happen because they were like, "Hey, we're going to send Jaime to Dorne this season."
Pretty much very accurate. Like, all of this stuff has gotten super
word for word for what happened with him and the Blackfish.
And to me, that's even more evidence of a potential Stoneheart appearance, because it's all shaping up exactly the way it did. And so Jaime had Ballin Lannister armor.
He did. We haven't seen him wearing Lannister armor since season 1.
The production value of all of that has grown, by the way. River Run looked awesome. Hornhill last week looked incredible. They've really stepped it up. There was some which I was very much part of too. There was some criticism last season of Dorne where it was like, other than the water gardens, Dorne was like tents and a beach, and like sandstone and
they also
Sunspear were not represented at all.
They
But
blew most of their budget on Hardhome.
so
Thankfully.
we're looking at River Run. It looked awesome, and we had like the Blackfish came back, and Edmure's out there, and they're like, the Freys have set up this really weak siege, and they're like, oh, we're gonna hang him, and we're gonna cut his throat, and whatever. And the Blackfish is like, I don't really care. He's like,
that would have been my response, because Edmure totally
he's on his own. He's weak.
He's the definition of weak.
And he's like, look. And so when Jaime shows up, and he's like, look, you guys are morons. We running this. Do what we say. Bronn is back. Bronn's been gone for 7 weeks.
Probably because Jaime was in King's Landing, and
yeah,
as the internet says, apparently that dude and Lena Headey don't get along. So
I
don't know if that's true or not. I don't care. I'm just happy to have Bronn back.
So that was really cool to see Bronn back. It was cool to see Jaime talking to the Blackfish. That was one of my favorite parts of the 4th book.
I appreciate Jaime slapping that Frey in the face.
That was pretty funny.
And I have a feeling that's going to be the dude that goes home and gets found out by the Brotherhood without banners, and they just straight hang that dude.
I like how Jaime is talking to the Blackfish, and the Blackfish is like, "This is my home.
With you.
I don't care. I can outlast for 2 years. I mean, you can come in here and lose thousands of men trying to take my home from me if you want, but I'm honestly not intimidated by you. And I just came out here to get a good look at you, and I'm not impressed
At all.
So,
I was like, I mean, he a little impressive.
Bye-bye now. Bye-bye. So that's obviously going to end.
Jaime's a better dude than me, because I'd just killed him right there. Because
I
don't follow the rules of negotiation. I come to win at all costs. Blackfish would have died right then and there.
That's going to end in
You would have killed him too?
Yeah.
That's going to end interestingly, I'm sure. So what happened after that? There was the stuff in King's Landing. Where basically Marjorie had another scene with the High Sparrow, and she's really conning him good. And then she explained to her grandmother in that note that she passed, just like the symbol of their house, just letting her know, like, look, this is all BS. Everything that I'm doing is to get Loras free. And when Loras is free, you really get the sense that...
When Loras is free, we are gonna...
Now, Tommen...
We are gonna grow strong, because there's honestly nothing intimidating that a house whose symbol is a flower could honestly say.
Tommen is probably...
Tommen weak.
Tommen is...
And I've had enough of Tommen. His time has come. It's time for him to die.
Tommen is completely...
You're not wrong. I'm ready for that third veil.
Tommen is completely and utterly been taken in by this, whereas
say what you will about Joffrey. Joffrey would have killed all these people by now.
Yeah.
Well, Marjorie's just going for the long con.
Like,
yeah,
see,
and Tommen is just getting...
I can't get behind Tommen because true story.
And he's just trying
if I was married to Marjorie Tyrell and the Faith militant arrested and imprisoned my wife and my brother by law, I'd have raised that whole building down upon their heads.
For sure.
I'd have killed every single one of the Septons. I'd have killed the Great Sparrow, whatever he's calling himself. Loras Tyrell would have been first up. Not
Absolutely.
Loras Tyrell. Lancel Lannister would have been dead. How has Lancel Lannister survived as long as he has?
No, it's just Lancel now.
Whatever.
So
I don't follow that nonsense.
I feel like, there's still a lot. I liked how Olenna was basically like, Cersei, like, you might be the worst person I've ever met. Like, I don't know, I've met a lot of terrible people.
And you should probably go.
And this is all pretty much your fault.
You should leave as soon as possible, because
you
got nobody. Your family's not talking to you. Your brother's not here.
and then we
Honestly, Cersei should have just married Loras and been done with it.
Yeah, it would have been a lot easier. So we did see Arya this week.
Yeah, briefly.
I kind of thought we weren't going to see Arya, but so Arya is kind of like, hey, she books a passage.
I knew we'd see her because I saw the promotional stills, and I was like, okay, that's cool.
She knows she knows she has to get out of town quick.
Mm-hmm.
She pays this guy a lot of money, or at least offers to pay him a lot of money, and says, hey, you got to get me out of town in the
We
morning.
leaving at dawn. I'd have been like, we're leaving right now.
And then the most obvious play by the waif of all time. An old woman comes up like, "Oh, you sweet girl,
Sweet baby."
And
First of all,
she
that's why I don't trust old people, because you never know when they're gonna pull out a knife and stab you.
And literally,
that's oddly specific, Logan.
Literally,
suspect.
I for at least 30 seconds thought that they had just killed Arya.
I didn't. Honestly, I was sitting there like, I would be saddened by this if I honestly thought she was dead.
I was like, did they kill Arya? Is this like another big stark death that we didn't see coming? Because
honestly, if she had gone over the rail into the water, I'd have been like, maybe she's dead. But then she did, and I was like, well, that's TV 101.
Yeah.
If you don't see a body, nobody's dead.
And then, but I'm glad that they didn't do a Walking Dead and end it right there with her getting stabbed or going over in the water, and then it just I'm glad they showed
or
her.
an army of White Walkers descending upon her, and somebody had fallen on top of her, and you just see the ice zombies eating the body. But you're like, oh, she probably rolled underneath the trash can.
This show's a lot better than The Walking Dead about stuff like that. So
did you say you would have cried?
If I saw a White Walker just falling out of the sky for no apparent reason,
I'd walk the other way.
But so she drags herself up and she goes, and she's on her own. She's gravely injured, so she's gonna be looking for somebody.
She's got so much more in common now with her favorite sibling. Because Jon straight got stabbed too.
I suspect
he's alive. You just saw him.
I suspect.
Why are you weeping?
I suspect
it doesn't hurt him anymore.
That her path is going to take a similar direction as what happened in the books, and she's going to come across Sam on his way to Old Town.
That, or she somehow heads back to that acting troupe, and that chick whose life she saved saves her.
That's possible too. So,
because we all know acting troupes have first aid kits.
But she's so you can assume Arya's probably okay. But next week's episode is called No One.
I mean, I feel like you can only stab 2 out of 3 Starks in the gut and they die because
I suspect that next week the episode titled No One will end Arya's storyline with the faceless men in Bravos for good.
I'm hoping she sets the whole House of Black and White ablaze.
Yeah, so look for a big Arya week.
It'd be very symmetrical since she saved Jaqen's life from a fire. She's going to end it with a fire. That's how I do it.
So we did not see Daenerys this week.
No.
That was the first time I think we didn't see Daenerys maybe this season.
Yeah.
Last week we didn't get Jon, and so this week no Daenerys.
I much prefer, if I can get Jon Snow, I much prefer having no Daenerys than having no Jon Snow and seeing Daenerys keep going batshit crazy.
They're probably going to have to start peeling some of that back or stalling on that a little bit, because otherwise they're going to wind up at the rate people travel.
We did not. Speaking of traveling and the Iron Islands.
The Iron Islands,
yeah.
The Greyjoys. Okay, so we got confirmation they were somewhere in Essos. They are traveling to Marine. We got confirmation that they are. Indeed,
I assume they were in Pentos.
Yeah, they were taking Euron's plan, and they're going to go make.
I wonder how that shipbuilding is going for him on an island with no trees.
Probably not as well as whatever the building that was happening with Maribald's, merry band.
I assumed he was building an alien tower.
Yeah.
What is he building? This is weird.
Some Tower of Babel or something.
I thought it was going to be...
But they can fire their arrows from, but they'll never strike God.
Yeah.
Go see X-Men Apocalypse? Apocalypse, yeah.
So,
I was going to say Days of Future Past.
That movie came out a while.
that was interesting. It was interesting for a couple of reasons. One, because we got, turns out that in the show, Yara is, I'm going to say she's probably lesbian. Like, because there's never been any indication either way, but, like, this is the first time we've ever seen her really interact with anybody. Her, like, weird flirtations with Theon.
No, that went above flirtation.
Those were intentional on her part, and it wasn't about
She nasty.
sex. So,
Yeah, Jake told me about what happened in the book.
so she's having relations, with this woman there, and I just thought that was interesting because, like, there have been so many times in the books where there are bisexual or lesbian characters that the show cut out, and then, like, there was, like, implied homosexuality from the men that the show explicitly showed. So, I'm not going to use the word nice, but it was, like, I guess even to show, like, yeah, like, women sometimes like other women, too. It's not just, like, brothels where that happens.
Well, I mean, it was a brothel because it was a prostitute.
Well, yeah, but, like, I meant in the sense of, like, a main character, because, like, the last time that happened, it wasn't a main character. It was, like, two brothel workers who were being paid to do it.
I mean, they had to make a living, and I respect them for that.
So
Theon stopped being, even though it was just a tad, he stopped being a little
Theon
bitchy.
is, like, kind of, you know...
It's like, I get it. You were flayed. You were castrated. You got punched in the face repeatedly. You had to stop using your own name. You had to sleep with dogs. I get it. You've been through a lot. For the love of God, can you, like, at least be like, I want revenge for that crazy dude who, like, tortured me for, like, 3 years straight. And I'm glad that we're finally getting something like that. Because honestly, his constant, like, is like, I'm scared. Like, you...
I think what it is more with Theon is he blames himself mainly for everything that happened. And, I mean, I understand that. Like, the general consensus about most people that I talk to, like, people still just hate Theon's guts. Like, and I think Theon's character has gotten more interesting this season than he's been since, you know, season 3 or whenever the torture began.
I hated Theon in, like, seasons 1 and 2.
I know.
By the time he started getting, like, I didn't care when he was getting flayed, but then when, like, Ramsay castrated him, I was like, okay, that's just going.
And then they've made
kill that man.
They've made, like, the 20th reference to the fact that he got castrated in tonight's episode. Like, this season alone, like, that's all they can. It's almost.
Well, we needed it. We needed it.
It's almost
Varys
like
wasn't in the episode.
It's almost It's almost like if we have a Game of Thrones episode where there's not a reference to somebody being in the room without a penis, like they have to. That's part of the formula.
Gotta have penis jokes.
Oh,
they were in Volantis.
They were in Volantis.
That was nice.
Cool. I think that was about everything that happened this week.
Oh. We were in the Vale because the stuff with Sandor Clegane and Ian McShane was in the Vale.
Oh, does that just, like, bust that out as actually being people from the Brotherhood Without Banners?
Yeah, I think it does.
Yeah. So we have, like, I would say it's not official, but we have a reasonable.
Nope. It says a trio of men from the Brotherhood Without Banners.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like,
No.
I'm saying, like Wikipedia, like, not official, but it's a reasonable source. Like,
Excuse me. I mean, it was pretty official last week. Not the week before that.
I mean, we got a reference to the Brotherhood Without Banners last week, so I assume that.
I meant when the episode with Hodor came out, it was everything they said was true.
So, of course, that was talking about events. I'm talking about, like, identity of people. So sometimes it's weird. But I assume they were the Brotherhood Without Banners because they were talking about the Lord of Light, and no one else in that part of the world would be doing that. But I think that was everything that happened.
Yeah.
It was kind of slow compared. I mean, like last week was also kind of slow. These were more character moments. These last few episodes instead of big like things, because the first 4 or 5 episodes were like big things, and then the last 2 have kind of been build up to what I'm sure the last 3 episodes are going to be off the charts insane. Next week is probably going to be really cool with Arya. The week after that is going to be like the full hour, like the Battle for the North. And then the last episode of the season is going to be literally called The Winds of Winter. So I'm sure that's going to be nuts too. So, wow, we managed to get a video right at 30 minutes. So thank you to everyone who watched, all 5 or 6 of you. That was also backwards. And we will be back, Lord of Light willing, next week to continue
we should
our discussions.
Unless the inevitable heat death of the universe occurs, in which case.
Or
see you on the other side.
The great comet that I've endorsed for president. The great comet of 2016, make the Earth flat again. Just pull it all down.
Again. Or winter randomly falls.
Flat again. I'm going to go with winter will not randomly fall. We're smack dab
It's like
in
90
summer
degrees.
right now.
No.
I mean,
winter
when
may
winter
be coming,
comes,
but it is not coming anywhere near Georgia at all.
not with the Night King and
Oh, that was another thing, is that like everyone seems to know, like, hey, this guy's called the Night King.
I guess Melisandre got like an email from the Lord of Light.
That's what I assume, and I assume that like she just sent that like out to everybody.
Or he was called that in the legends, and that's why they call him that now.
You didn't lawyer either.
No.
You should really not talk about things that you don't know about.
The problem is that, like, if he were called that in the legends, that might be true of the show, but that would not jibe with what the Night's King is in the books at all. So,
Well, I've never read the book.
You pick up a book, Derrick.
you would know if you had read. Where's the book you were supposed to?
It's right there.
Yeah, one job, Derrick. You would know had you read the book.
It's actually in the first couple of chapters, Derrick. Do
Sorry,
better.
Excuse
You would
me,
know.
I didn't read a book in 15 seconds.
You would know that
It's your fault.
the Night King, as the show calls him, is a somewhat different concept in the books.
Yeah.
I think that they should have gone with Coldemore, personally, but
Oh, I see you're going with the French pronunciation. That's the correct way.
the Rowling pronunciation.
Like, you should have probably said something before it was in a book, JK.
You know, JK. So, I mean, like, she has, like, a habit of, like, revising her own things. She's kind of, like, she's kind of done, like, a literary version of, like, George Lucas in a way, but, like, it's in a...
What?
It's always in weird settings, like, where she's, like...
It's in things that nobody asked about.
By the way,
Voldemort, not Voldemort.
It's Voldemort. By the way, Gandalf's gay. I'm like, we knew he was gay. Like what?
He was as
Gandalf
was as flamboyant as Liberace. Like, we knew he was gay.
Dumbledore.
Well, didn't she also say that
Albus
Ron and Hermione would
Wulfric.
have actually stayed together?
Albus Percival Wulfric
Brian Dumbledore. We knew he was gay. So,
and guess what? I didn't care.
But even though I just misspoke, Gandalf was gay too. So come on, guys. He was real gay. Like, he was gay. Like,
that man had like what 40 billion years, and he never pulled the trigger on him and Galadriel.
We could do another video about how gay Gandalf was, like just by himself. But anyways, so yeah. See you guys next week.
Precious 2, Electric Boogaloo, coming to theaters 2019.
And,
Please tell me that's
not made.
Live long and prosper. Whatever.
Oh, and remember, Lannister always pays his debts, even when Bronn doesn't want him to say that. So.